The Monday, February 26, 2024 regular meeting of the Paris City Council is hereby called to order at 5:30 p.m. For this meeting, there is a quorum of the council present. Item number 2 and 3, Mr. Gene Anderson will deliver the invocation. The United States Pledge of Allegiance and the Texas Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Mayor Pro Tem Pankich. Please rise.
May we pray? Heavenly Father, we thank you for the comfort that you give us when times are troubled. We thank you for the hope that we have in Jesus Christ. And Father, we thank you for all the blessings that you bestowed upon our city. We pray for our council tonight as they conduct the city's business, that you would guide and direct them. And Father, might all we do be pleasing in your sight. For we ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Item number 4, the Citizens Forum. Persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentation to no more than 2 minutes. Unless an item is posted on the agenda, the Texas Open Meetings Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer the matter to a future agenda, to an existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city council, members, or employees, as well as individual personal appeals, are not appropriate for Citizens Forum. If necessary, the city council may convene an executive session under Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code regarding any item on this agenda. The public forum is now open. If there is anyone who wishes to address the council, please come forward. State your name and address for the record.
Good evening.
Evening.
My name is Mariano Sanchez. I live here in Paris, Texas, on Washington Street, and I just got a couple of questions on the new disposal service that we are getting. I'm not in agreement with one trip per week. I'm sure you guys, when you guys approve this, you'll consider the smell of the trash and the maggots and flies and rodents. So I'm not in agreement. On top of that, on this document where we agreed to pay for this city to pick up the trash, we agreed to 2 trips per week for an amount up to 18 bags per week of trash. On the new document here, according to the gallons of the bucket that we received, 96 gallons equals 4.3 cubic yards of trash. It don't equal to even half of the trash that we were disposing before. I would like to see what we can do about it. I mean, it's just not, I'm not in agreement, and I'd like to see something done about it, please. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, Charles Baxter. I live on 32900 Paris, Texas. It's the opposite way of going to Lake Crook besides turning down McCoy's Road. There has been a suggestion of possibility of putting an RV park or trailer park in on that area. Me and all my neighbors and the one neighbor that is not here do not want that. And when they're asking to be de-annexed, we do not want to be de-annexed out there. So far, we're pleased what the city has for us. And we don't know nobody right beside us to be de-annexed to be able to do what they want to on their property. Now, he is out there clearing and cutting now, preparing to do something. And we all have talked to him, and we kind of get the runaround, but I understand through the people that up here that he has come up here and tried to get out last year. and has mentioned about putting a temporary RV park in for the solar eclipse. We don't want a temporary park, because once you get traffic coming down there, y'all gonna have to upgrade the road. The road is fair to poor now. So that's the first thing you have to do, spend money on it. We don't have city water, we don't have city curbs, and he's gonna have to do all of that to even think about it. We do not want no RV park, and he's right beside me. And Mr. Fuller is right beside him also on the fence. And he asked me to say the same thing for him. He does not want no temporary or no permanent RV park out there. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Bradley Rail, and I live at 700 County Road, Paris, Texas. And it's out there by Lake Crook. And in addition to what he said, the where they want to de-annex is, they're my next door neighbors, but I don't want an RV park out there. But all I know is they tried to be de-annexed in 2021, and they were turned down. And what they told us was that they wanted to just build a house out there, and they wouldn't give them a permit. And I thought that was kind of strange, but according to the paperwork I've read, the paperwork now, they want in 2024, they want to just build a house and a couple other structures. That's why they want to be de-annexed, but you don't need that's why I'm troubled. You don't need a de-annex to get a house permit, because there was a house built a couple of doors down. So I'm just really troubled and confused. Something else, like I'm missing something. Somebody knows something, they know something, or somebody does, because they're not really sharing all the information. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening.
Evening.
My name's Melanie Van Deren. I am a new resident in the same area at 52900. I just moved into my house that we just built with all the city permits that we have gotten from the city. Everything built perfectly fine and legal in that area. So I do not understand why they need a de-annex to build a house when we just did it and we're proof that it could be done. We just moved in November. So all this that they're saying, that they don't get police services out there, no water, sewer, fire protection, police protection, is not correct. Because we have proof that it is possible, and the police do come out there to that area. So I just wanted to let you know that we do not want this to be de-annexed. We're happy with being in the city. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Billy Parr. I live on County Road 31700, which is also connects to the road that these people live on, and I'm against trailer park too. I own all the land that all those houses back up to, and I don't want people running all over my pasture. It's still a ranch right now, and I want to keep it that way. It's been that way since 1852, and I own 160 acres there, and I just don't think it ought to be run over by people from the trailer park. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else that wishes to address the council? Since none, the citizen forum is now closed. Consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are approved by a single action of the council, with such approval applicable to all items appearing on the consent agenda. A council member may wish to request any item to be removed from the consent agenda and considered as a separate item. Does any member wish to remove any item from the consent agenda?
Just 1 second.
That's on the consent agenda. Which one is that? Do you want that one to pull?
No one. No.
Okay.
Okay.
If not, is there a motion to approve all items on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Regular agenda, item number 16, convene into executive session pursuant to section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code, consultation with attorney to receive legal advice for the city attorney about, 1, pending or contemplated litigation, and/or 2, on matters in which the duty of an attorney to hear client under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflict with this chapter, to wit, City of Paris versus SPRMC. And I need a motion to remove this item from the table.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, all opposed, say no. Motion carries 7-0. The time is 5:40 PM. The city council is convening into executive session.
So sorry, Mayor. Just wanted to note for the record that Councilmember Norman and I are on the board for PRMC. We want to be recused of the executive session.
I'll make a motion to recuse Pro Tem Pankage and Council Lady Norman from the executive session.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Item number 17, the time is 6:10 PM, and the city council is open session. There was no action taken. We'll hear a motion to return Mayor Pro Tem Pankage and Councilwoman Norman back to the city
So
council
moved.
meeting.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Item number 18, conduct the public hearing, act on the ordinance regarding the petition of Fabiola C. Demas for a zoning change from a one-family dwelling district number 2, SF2, to a one-family dwelling district number 3, SF3, in the Westview Addition, Block A, Lot 7R, 8R, LCAT 20605 and 130518, located at 1824-1834 West Houston. Staff?
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, ladies and gentlemen of the council. Yes, the applicant is requesting a zoning change from SF2 to SF3 with the desire to build a single-family residence on that property. The current zoning is SF2, and the lots do not meet the minimum requirements of the lot width. The land to the east is zoned SF3 and guided for low density. The lands to the west, north, and south is zoned SF2 and also guided for low density residential. A zoning change to SF3 would address the lot width and allow for the lots to be developed. Any remaining nonconformities could be handled administratively. The lot is currently in the platting process, and this is a condition of the plat. Staff has received no inputs for or against the zoning change. P&Z voted 4-0 to approve the zoning change. Staff also recommends approving the zoning change.
Okay, well, I will open the public hearing and ask for anyone wishing to speak about this item to please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, I will now close the public hearing. Is there any discussion? Okay, I will hear a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries 7-0. Item number 19, discuss to provide direction to the city staff and act on a resolution regarding an application for de-annexation for a property located at 660/680 County Road 32900, Paris, Texas, filed by Brandon and Kara Bond. Staff?
As you've heard tonight, this is the second application for disannexation of this property. The first one was in 2021, and the council denied that application by Resolution 2021-016. There is nothing significantly different about this application than the previous one. There grounds for disannexation in the previous application had to do with city services. In this application, they've alleged no water, no sewer, no fire protection, and no police protection. The only services not currently available to the property owners at that property are water and sewer, and there are no plans at this time to extend water and sewer to this area. The city does, however, provide police and fire coverage, and trash collection is available as a rate-paying service. Either way, the property does not meet the city's policies for disannexation because it would create a keyhole in the middle of the city. I say in the middle, it would create a keyhole with the city all around it. And according to the Texas Local Government Code, in order for a city to grant a disannexation that would create a keyhole, the city council would have to find that it's in the public interest, and that this particular request would not appear to create or be in the public interest. So what the city council can do tonight is determine whether or not to deny the petition outright at this time. If so, you'd pass a resolution denying the petition, or if the city council wished to go forward, you could pass a resolution that would do that and set public hearings to do that. The act of going forward and initiating the proceedings does not mean that the city council would be required to grant the disannexation at the end of that period. If you choose to proceed before March 7th, I would send out notices to the other taxing entities, which has to be done 30 days before the first of 2 public hearings. Between March 19th and 29th, we would publish notice of a first public hearing in the Paris News. Between April 2nd and April 12th, we would publish notice of a second public hearing. At the April 8th regular council meeting, we would conduct the first public hearing. On April 22nd, at the regular council meeting, we would conduct the second public hearing, and then the council could consider and act on an ordinance regarding the disannexation on May 13th. You may recall we kind of went through this process on another property, and it required calling a second or a special meeting to do that. Because of how the calendar falls on this particular one and the fact that there's an additional Monday in one of the months, we would not have to call a special meeting to do that. So again, your options are denying it outright or passing a resolution to go forward with the proceedings. And staff recommends that you deny the application.
All right, is there any discussion?
And to the claim that was made that we do not provide services, as you heard tonight from citizens, I did check with Chief McMonagle, Chief Salter, and Michael Smith, Public Works Director, and we do provide services to this area, albeit with street work. As you know, across town, we do the best we can to hit all places, and so there is work to be done up there. We have identified things we can try to add to the list to work up there, but otherwise we do provide fire and police service and street services to that road.
All right, if there's no discussion, will I hear a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to deny the petition to disannex.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? All right, motion carries 7-0 to deny the motion. Item number 20, receive a presentation about a short-term rental program in the city of Paris. Mr. Vine.
Mayor Pro Tem, members of council, good evening. We're here to talk to you about a short-term rental program, a proposal for ordinance and registration program. About a year ago, staff and some council members, particularly Mayor Pro Tem Pankage and Councilwoman Linda Knox, formed a subcommittee, and began looking into the potential for a short-term rental registration program and ordinance that would support that. In all of the meetings that we have been able to have, we've looked at multiple different ordinances, multiple different cities, what they are doing, what's good, what's bad, what's indifferent, and we've tried to adopt and formulate ours after the city of Frisco, which seems to be probably the most life safety focused ordinance and program that we've seen. Frisco has also been determined, they put on I believe it was a virtual workshop for several different cities, and Frisco was the presenter. So we've see them as the forerunner setting the tone. So we patterned our draft after the Frisco model, and what I'd like to do is share some of the information that we've already covered, and then also to get some direction from you. If you could start the slideshow, please. Basically, first thing, what is a short-term rental? It includes a single-family home, garage apartment, or duplex, triplex. It could also be campers, tiny homes, or other small structures where basically people are renting their dwelling for less than 30 days. That's what constitutes a short-term rental. And I think this is on a timer, so you may have to make sure I'm not going too slow. Go ahead to the next one, please. That's what we're wanting to focus on. According to a presentation that Mayor Pro Tem Pankaj and I attended October 12th, 2023, Avenue Insights, which is who the City of Frisco and other cities use, we have 43 short-term rentals available, at least on that date, within the city. And that is a paid platform that other cities use. Next, please. Looking at another platform, it's All the Rooms. This is not a paid service, and this just picked out 21 short-term rentals that are within the city. And this was this month, but it's looking at last month, which would be January 2024. And then this also shows the average daily rate, which I was surprised. It says 181. I'm not sure how accurate that is, but that's the information that this platform provided. This is not, again, this is the light version. This is not the paid platform. If we paid for it, we would get a little bit more information. Why do we want to create an ordinance and have a registration program? The objective is not to restrict. There are several cities that are out there that we saw that wants to reduce it to only, or limit it to only specific zones. You can only have so many within a neighborhood. You have to live in your house to be available. These are all unconstitutional. The ordinance that we're looking at is least restrictive. We want to focus on life safety. Not only life safety, but also the quality of life for those residents around these habitations or structures. Next, please. We want to promote public health and safety and general welfare, and then also to ensure that there's a collection of the hotel occupancy tax to protect the health and safety of those guests that are staying at those short-term rentals, to make sure that they're safe structures, and also, lastly, if needed, to aid in enforcement of applicable ordinances and laws. Next. This is one example of what we would require, or the program would require, is if you check in, you get a guest safety information checklist, 24-hour contact information for the person or persons that run the structure, pertinent neighborhood information, including parking restrictions, noise restrictions, trash collection. The next would be reference to quiet hours and noise restrictions, information to guests in case of an emergency, and then also depiction of the floor plan to identify evacuation routes, and then different things like at least one working fire extinguisher to comply with fire code as well. Again, focusing on life safety. The 5 steps would be registration, inspection, minimizing parking violations, minimizing noise violations, and then a hot tax account setup. Next, please. And then enforcement capabilities, we've asked ourselves of staff, what kind of regulatory environment do we want to impose in our community? And I think these 4 words are key: reasonable and practical, fair and consistent. Again, the intent is not to infringe, but to enhance. And what type of regulations do we have? The ability to enforce. This type of registration program and ordinance would not require the addition of staff. For a breakdown, just taking, if we do have, according to Avenue, 43 units, this is what the hotel occupancy tax could look like. This is not about making extra money for the city. As you can see from the numbers, we're not going to be able to fund huge projects with this, but this is bringing everybody into accountability, and then also through the registration program, making sure that life safety issues are at the forefront. Where we are in the process, the committee has met numerous times. We have a rough draft of not only the registration program, the application, and I believe all that information is in your packets as well, but also of the ordinance. What we would like to, what we're coming to you this evening for, is some direction. Staff would like to meet with the owners of these structures, these houses, short-term rentals, and let them have some input. We think it's only fair and appropriate that we sit down and visit with them prior to and get their input and get their support, and then come back and visit with you and present a final draft for your consideration. So we're here seeking input.
What do the council wish to do with this?
I know we worked pretty heavily on this, and I want to thank you for all the hard work that you've put in on this project here. I want to emphasize, we went into this totally blind and kind of learning a lot of different nuances about our community and short-term rentals, STRs to be short here, but I thought it was interesting that the safety component and what are the things that we could implement are. This all came about from a neighbor that, had said, hey, we're seeing a lot of STR activity in our particular neighborhood. What can we do about this? We just want safety. We want to make sure everything is done correctly. And so I commend you and the group to put this work together. I think it's a great idea to talk to some of the STR folks to get them involved and hear their side of it too, similar to what we did with food trucks. I think that this is a great option and have them buy into it too and invest and say, hey, this is what we would like to see, because I don't do STR, I don't have one, but it would be great to be able to pick their brain and say, hey, how can we make this better? So I like that idea.
I think it's great meeting with the folks. In here, I don't see anything on, obviously you can revoke the permit if they don't comply,
Yes.
but are there any penalties or warnings before
There-
that happens?
That's up for discussion. That's one of the things that we are looking at. I think currently they would have 2 or 3. That's one thing we're discussing too, is do you allow 2 violations or 3? Basically, someone's having, let's say, loud parties, or they're having more people than they should. They're engaging in activity that's unsafe for not only the residents but the neighborhood. So that is up for discussion. Could it be 2? Could it be 3? And then they would lose or could lose their privileges up to the rest of that year.
And how would you address a situation where somebody has a short-term rental but it's not registered?
We would just reach out to them and talk to them and let them know.
So, you through, Rudy? I'm sorry. Okay, I may have missed this part, but, so currently, we don't have a short-term registration right now?
Correct.
Correct. So people rent out their houses or mobile homes or tiny homes, whatever the case may be, on their own. There's no regulation. Is that correct?
Correct. Through the city.
Through the city, yeah. So we were starting a regulation program.
Yes.
Okay. So how do you find out about how many homes did you say it was here?
43 if you go through Avenue, which is an insight.
Oh, Avenue?
Yes.
Is how they, and
Yes.
is that how they advertise or something?
They're able to, they go through Airbnb, Verbo, all the rooms. There were several different online platforms, and they're able to search all of those and pull that information out by zip code.
Right, but there's probably people out there renting or short-term renting that doesn't go through that. So there could be more, right?
Could be.
Okay, so if we implement this program, there will be penalties for people who operate, by not going through this short-term program,
Yes.
or not being licensed, so to
Yes.
speak.
But the ordinance
or
will have a penalty section, yes.
Okay. But the purpose of us doing this is more about safety, because you made the
Yes.
point, it's not about money, because it's not generating a
Yes.
heck of a whole lot of money.
Yes,
But
it's
it's
about
more
safety.
on safety.
The hotels get inspected annually to make sure that they're safe, because we have people coming to Paris, staying in this hotel, and we want them to know that they're safe. These structures, these short-term rentals are the same. If you're coming to my house and I'm renting it to you, I should make sure that it's safe for you. You
Have
would
we-
want to know that it's safe.
Have we had any issues come up in the past? Any data from issues from the past?
I'm not aware of any, no.
Yeah, so,
Again, we're not monitoring those, so
Right.
we wouldn't
but
be.
That may be their argument, that
Correct.
hey, nothing's happened in the past, why are we being regulated, and why?
We have had some citizens, I've been approached by a few citizens about short-term rentals in their neighborhood and whether it's legal or not, and because part of the code, the ordinance would be to provide just some basic regulations about noise and public safety and parking, so you don't have basically the wild party scenario. And if you're living in a single-family neighborhood, then the expectation for the neighbors is that the house will use to similar standards, not have 18 cars out front with a large, loud pool party at 4 a.m. So that's kind of the expectation with this ordinance here.
We're talking like Airbnb, short-term rental.
Yes.
Yes.
less than 30 days.
Yeah, so, but we have, I've had a few come to me. It's been a little while, it's been probably a year or so now, but I've had a few come to me, and, because I have some in my neighborhood, so they've approached me about that.
Incidents, actual incidents?
I won't say incidents,
or
it's
just
more
asking?
questions, concerns about
Right.
them existing, so I can't say instance, it's more of the question, can they exist in the neighborhood? And
Right.
so,
So that's my point. You know, their point would probably be, we haven't had any incidents, so why do we need regulation? I'm not fighting against it.
yeah,
I agree with it, but I'm just saying those are some of the things that they will come back and say. Because the ordinances, as far as how you should act in a neighborhood, are already in place. That's why we call Chief Salter. So they're gonna make that point. But anyway, yeah, I agree with it, and I appreciate the work, you know, so.
All right, what's the recommendation?
I'd say I think it's a good idea to meet with some of these short-term rental owners and have a good discussion with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's good.
Thank you.
Item number 21, discuss and act on an ordinance amending Chapter 4 Building Regulations, Article 4.02, Construction Codes and Standards, Division 5 Plumbing Code, to add Section 4.02.124, Cross Connection Control Program. Staff.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem again, ladies. A cross-connection of water supplies are situations where non-potable water and potable water come into contact, which can pollute or contaminate our public drinking water system. The importance of having a clearly defined cross-connection control program cannot be overstated. It's very important for public safety. Backflow protection currently for the city is established in the city's irrigation ordinance, Section 412, the International Plumbing Code, Chapter 3, or 6 and 13, the TECQs, publications RG 206, 345, 476, 477, 478, and in the EPA's Cross-Connection Control Manual with these 3 reference standards here also. While all these regulation standards and manuals are in agreement, they're very generic in nature. So they're designed for any city to adopt or enforce across the nation. And they don't address specific local enforcement or department and owner responsibilities. They don't spell that out real clearly. So having these multiple regulations and sources make it very challenging for staff to explain the responsibilities, to explain the installation procedures, and to enforce the requirements. Furthermore, it creates challenges for contractors to know exactly what they're supposed to do, or when they're supposed to test, how they're supposed to test, that kind of stuff. And it makes it difficult for homeowners to understand. You know, cross connections is a lot Greek to a lot of people. So placing all this information in one document while referencing the above standards and rules will make the process straightforward and streamline this method of cross-connection protection. The proposed cross-connection ordinance explains the purpose of backflow protection, defines local duties and responsibilities for our water purveyor, our building department, installers, and the owners. It provides for the city's regulatory compliance with the state and federal regulations. It establishes enforcement procedures clearly defined. It sets fines and procedures for violations, and it provides for relief and appeal procedures. Staff recommends that we adopt this ordinance, and I can answer any questions that you might have on that now at this time.
Is there any discussion?
I got one quick question. What all would this change in terms of operations of existing, homes and businesses or anything like that? Is there something that we'd have to tweak for that, or?
Not necessarily. It would clarify a lot of things on reporting procedures and testing procedures to make sure that our public drinking water supply is protected at each location.
Perfect. Okay.
I would say that obviously if one is cross-connected incorrectly right now, I mean, even if they're existing, they would need to change because that is a health hazard that has to be addressed.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
All right, is there no further discussion? Will I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the adoption as recommended.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries 7-0. Item number 22, discuss and possibly act on a resolution adding Juneteenth and Veterans Day to the City of Paris holiday schedule. For a couple of years now, we've had citizens approach me and ask for these particular holidays if the City of Paris would ever add them to their schedule, and I don't really have an answer for that. So during our monthly meeting with the city manager, I brought it up and to see what that would look like for the city and staff and so forth. So before I ask the council to discuss and possibly vote on it, I will ask Mr. Path to give some information on it, if he would.
Absolutely, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council, yes, Mayor Hughes approached me about the idea of adding Juneteenth and Veterans Day to our current list. In your memo there, I've given you some details about current holidays that we offer the employees versus federal. As you see, that we have a table there of holidays the federal provides and holidays the city provides. Nothing requires any employer, including the city, to honor a particular day as a holiday, and so just because the federal does it doesn't mean we have to. But at the same time, we do days the federal doesn't as well. So with that, obviously, as you know, Veterans Day was added to the list of holidays in 1954. Juneteenth was added in 2021 as a federally recognized holiday. And so it'd be a simple adjustment to our personnel manual. We'd be adding just those 2 days to that. I provided you some details. There is also a cost impact to the city to do this. Anytime that employees are not working or we have holidays, that is extra pay to employees. I've given you detail about that. It's very hard to calculate that, so I've given you kind of my basement figure based off of like Labor Day as an example we did. So you have that number there, but also this would come with a cost added to this. But I'll take any questions the council has.
Any discussion?
So this is for Juneteenth and veterans, right?
It doesn't necessarily have to be for both,
and or. Okay.
Or we can reevaluate either or at another time.
How does, the cities around here, do any of them, do you know if any of them have either of these days as holidays, the municipalities?
We did not do that research. I do know Veterans Day is a common one. I don't know about Juneteenth, but we did not do a polling to see, but it really is a mixture across the board.
I have no problem with either one.
I think both are great and important holidays. Did we look at maybe doing a floating holiday where people can pick one or the other?
We do have, Mr. Anderson or Ms. Collard, do we have a floating holiday in our policy? I can't remember. So no, we do not have that currently in our policy. Now, we do, obviously, if for those employees who are required to work, they can either be paid out the holiday hours for that day, or they can take that holiday at a future point. Am I correct, Mr. Anderson, with that? Yes. Yeah. So for those employees who have to work, they can take a floating holiday, per se, down the road at some point.
So like if trash pickup wouldn't be one, a bad example.
Not anymore. So, yeah, but water treatment, wastewater treatment, police, fire, and EMS.
Yes, that have to be here.
Yes.
They could take it later. Okay.
Yes, yeah. So we have a sizable number of employees that are required to work every day of the year. And so some of those days do fall on holidays. So those employees, they either get paid out holiday pay, straight pay for that day, or at their option, they can then take a day off down the road.
Well, my personal opinion, I think the African-American population makes up about 20%, I think, of Paris, Texas. And I know they would appreciate this holiday being one. And then we have just tons of veterans here. And every time we do anything to honor veterans, that's always a great thing. So I have no problem with either one. As a matter of fact, I'm in favor of both and strongly suggest that we do this.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that, exactly what Councilmember Savage has said. I mean, this is a really important deal to come by, and I appreciate Mayor for bringing that up. And we gotta pay our respects, and I think this would be a good way to do it.
Yes, I agree too.
So I agree and fully support with the Juneteenth and the Veterans Day. That gives 12 holidays, which is more than federal holidays, and twice as many as most of the industries give, which is 6 holidays. So I'm in support of those two, but there are some on there that are holidays that are not recognized by other entities, like the day after, Thanksgiving and Christmas. I just think it's a lot. Although I appreciate our city employees and think they deserve as much as we can give them, but I know there'll be some people that are concerned about the cost of 12 holidays.
Yeah.
But I want to go on record saying that I do support those, but maybe look at the others. I don't know.
Also, the council, the personnel manual is per your purview, and so the council can also direct me to make changes. I do know employees, they are used and somewhat expecting some of those current days, and that they have either made plans for that. And so my recommendation wouldn't be to exchange days necessarily, and because these are days that the staff are already currently planning on or expecting, or we've based our shifts around or scheduled around. So I wouldn't recommend trading days out to add these two, but at the same time, this is by your direction.
All right, is there any further discussion? All right, based on the discussion, I'll hear a motion.
I make the motion that we make Juneteenth and Veterans Day official holidays for the city of Paris municipality.
Okay, a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? No. Motion carries 7-0. Item number 23, discuss and act on the ordinance declaring unopposed candidates in the City Council Districts 1, 3, and 6 for the May 4th, 2024 general election by elected to office, and determination that no general election be held in Districts 1, 3, and 6.
Okay, the time has come and gone to sign up for city council. In the districts that we have before you this time, we have 3 that are unopposed. That's Districts 1, 3, and 6. Gary Savage in District 1, Shatara Moore in District 3, and Alec Putman in District 6. I'd ask that you all approve an ordinance canceling these elections in these 3 districts and declare the candidates unopposed and elected to office.
Is there any discussion? I'll hear a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries 7-0. Item number 24, convening to executive session pursuant to section 551.087 of the Texas Government Code. 1, to discuss or deliberate regarding commercial or financial information that the government body has received from a business prospect that the governmental body seeks to have, locate, stay, or expand in or near the territory of the government body with which the government body is conducting economic development negotiations. Or 2, to deliberate the offer of a financial or incentive to the business prospect described by subdivision 1 as follows: Project Lightning. The time is 6:42, and the city council is convening to executive session. Time is 6:54 p.m., and the city council is in open session, and there's no action taken. Item number 26, consider and approve future events for city council and our city staff pursuant to resolution number 2004-081. Does anyone have anything? Hearing none, I will hear a motion and a second for adjournment.
So moved.
A second. We are adjourned.